Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Dreamers Podcast. Today we have rap duo Angry Blackmen. If you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Quentin, and I'm one half of Angry Blackmen.
And I'm Brian, and I'm the other half.
Welcome guys, appreciate you for coming on. Before I get into asking you about your current music and kind of what you guys are doing now, I just want to start off how has music played a role in your life? What was that early, when you were a kid? How did it affect you?
For me, I feel like music was always something to guide me through the world. It was just something where when I was feeling bad or feeling sad, it would just help me maneuver the world. You know what I'm saying? Because, life is hard, and music was just something to put me back on my feet. And, when I was younger, I wasn't always listening to younger, like I'm 40, but um, I wasn't always listening to hip hop. I was listening to a bunch of things. So it's like all types of music kept me going.
And as for me, it's about the same. I grew up in a really musically inclined household with my dad and my mom just kind of having just a strange taste for music. And my dad used to be a DJ, so he would be scratching on the table in the basement, and I'd just be sitting there putting little flows together, just mumbo jumbo, until one day everything started to just make sense. I just started getting a mature mind and just actually putting down meaningful words. So it definitely came over time with a lot of practice and just the natural interest for it. And then it became like an escape for me. And I started making different type of writing methods for myself, so that way I never have writer's block ever. So yeah, that's about it for me.
So nice. That kind of flows into my next question. I was just going to ask, when did you two both decide that you really wanted to pursue music full time, and that you really thought you could do something with it?
For me, full time. Well, I knew something was special when I was doing my solo shit. A lot of people would be like, "Hey, this is really cool. Like, you should keep going with this." When I noticed a lot of people started, taking notice, for me, that's when I always felt like, okay, like this could be something that, you could possibly look into. It was just hard to come to terms with that, because when I was younger, like I said, I wasn't a huge hip hop fan. So it was a slowly embrace. And then by the time I realized, you know, both the time when things start coming together better, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like I could do something with this.
For me, it was probably um, right after grade school when I started wanting to when I entered my freshman year in high school, I started really taking it serious. I was getting into talent shows and stuff like that, and really getting the feel for the crowd and just doing an absolute horrible job at performing and just getting better from that over time and getting laughed at too for about a week or two. And that burnt me. And I was like, you know what? Next time I step on stage, every time I step on stage, I'm never going to fail the audience. So I take that energy very seriously everywhere I go. So yeah, it was about around freshman year of high school I really started going serious. Now professionally, that didn't happen until me and Q started linking up, and then we was yeah, we need to, this is the occupation. We want to take this somewhere. So
Yeah. Yeah, I would say about the same too. Like when I was doing solo stuff, I saw the potential, but I think Brian hit the nail on it. It wasn't until we started doing this that I really saw the vision. It's like you see it at first, but then you really see that motherfucker.
yeah, because I was just doing little song covers, just trying to use other people's beats that was already out and just rap on it, put it out. Just wanted to be heard. And I was like, I'm getting tired of taking other people's stuff. I want to have some caviar of my own.
So, yeah, well, sweet. Yeah, that like you mentioned, performing and doing a terrible job. I mean, I think a lot of people, it scares them to perform because they don't want to go up there and fail and get laughed at. But I mean, I think that's one of the best ways to learn is from failing. Uh, so I think it was nice that you were able to overcome that. And then, I mean, obviously you guys just did a show. So I wanted to ask about how was that? What was that like? I think you guys mentioned it was your first show in, well, since COVID. So how was it performing again?
Yeah, for me it was amazing. Like I've been thinking about it for the last couple of days, and I just realized like how much we took all this shit for granted prior to this because it was just a different atmosphere. Some people had masks. Yeah, we had to check our vax cards. People were kind of separated, spread a little, so they won't be too close. But before that, because we did a show March of 2020, right before shit started getting closed down, we were hearing about it, and you can definitely see like the difference. Like everybody's packed up, sweaty. Here was more reserved, and but it was just good to be back, honestly. Like I loved it, man. It was just good to be back. It felt like a family reunion or something. I don't know. It was great.
Yeah, for me it was really good. It was like I was saving up all my energy for that moment to just let it out, how like channel it in a proper way, because I didn't want to like get too wild and then I ended up messing up myself. So
Facts. That's a
like
big thing.
definitely like that was just like a tiptoe back in the pond again, like trying to test the waters and stuff like that. So like the next show I'm going all out like crazy, man. And to some of the people that was like coming up to me and like trying to talk to me whole conversation, I was like just mentally tired because I had a really long day before the show started. So I was just like completely thrown off. And then after the show, and then you trying to talk to me, my battery was on like 1%. So sorry, y'all. I'm not no douche. I'm not none of that. I'm like really cool. It's just I was tired.
I'm not no douche. Skadoosh.
Skadoosh.
Was that from Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah,
I never seen that shit.
Oh,
I just know he said
that's a classic. I don't know. The first two are good. I don't know if I've seen the third one, but the first one's good.
I didn't see the third one.
check it
First
out.
two, me and you, first two.
Well, sweet. Yeah, performing takes a lot. I went to basically my second real concert, other than like local little concerts here. I went to one back in Denver back in March with my partner, and it was Mitski. I don't know if you guys know Mitski, but it's kind of more like
Oh, of
indie,
course. Yeah.
yeah, indie music. And it was pretty much my first real concert that wasn't in like I went to one. I went to 21 Pilots a few years ago in like a big stadium, and that was cool and that was an amazing show. But it was I never been in like a smaller theater, with hundreds of people or whatever. It got to be like right there. And I mean, I didn't know really any of her music beforehand, but oh my god, like she was an amazing performer. Like the way she like controlled the crowd and everything. So it really helped me realize, having not really gone to many performances, how important that like having that energy is. So yeah, I totally understand how afterwards you're like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm
Yeah,
just tired. Like it takes a lot.
Yeah.
And so with you guys having such a good experience, I know you guys were kind of working on doing like a tour this year. How's that going? Do you have any details about that?
Um, it's going good. We had some minor setbacks as far as how many dates we're gonna do. There
Mm-hmm.
was a lot more dates that we were planning to do, but things happened and it got cut a little.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still very much excited just to get the experience.
yeah, same here. Like I'm not going to sit there and just one more date. I'm I'm fine. I'm 10 toes. It's like I'm going to be doing performances. I'm gonna be doing some songwriting. I'm gonna be
Mm-hmm.
doing some producing. So I mean, hey, things happen.
That's how I feel about it. And also like it's just more opportunities. Like things happen for a reason, so it's like I'm not
For
too
sure.
bummed about it. At first, I was bummed about it, but
It's a reason, man.
it's
Yeah,
always the reason.
you could be dodging something very terrible. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could be, or missing out something on something that's great. It's like a big yin and yang.
Oh no, you're a really good person. So whatever great is happening, if it's meant to come to you, it's gonna come.
That's true. Can't deny that.
So then, when you guys aren't working on the tour and stuff, I mean, I know you're working on new music, and we'll kind of get to that here in a little bit. But what is your process like? I mean, you can go and listen to your projects and kind of see your sound like evolving. And so I'm excited to hear the new project. But what is that whole process like? The writing, how do you both write? Do you get the beat first? Do you write the lyrics first and find a beat for it? And what's that whole recording and writing process like?
um, it has been like a gradual step, I would say, because each project up until this point has been done by somebody different, and we've had a hand more and more as it progressed. So I would say we kind of come with the vision of the overall like mood for this, for said project. If we're feeling like super grimy or not too grimy or more happy or cheerful, whatever the case, it'll be like this is the vibe, So it's a
Mm-hmm.
vibe first, and then the production come. Like if we
Hmm.
stacking it, it's like a vibe, how we feeling, and the production,
Mm-hmm.
and then the lyrics. But for me, and I don't know about this, if this is true for Brian, it's just I gotta hear like the beats and the vibe first before I write anything. If I'm writing something, then it most likely won't fit that particular story.
Um, just going based off the experiences of the previous albums we worked on and how I did, because my method changes. I'm like a madman when it comes to like having like little writing tools, because I'll be trying to give this man little writing tools. He'd be like, "Man, I got writer's block." I'm like, "Oh, let me help you out." But what I can say for me, when I heard the beat, I would then get a vibe, and then I wouldn't be able to, if I get like a grimy vibe, I wouldn't be able to like sit in a room and write something grimy. I would need to go to like the trenches. I need to go
Mm-hmm.
to like Chicago, take a drive, and just be in the hood, just be low key, and just try to write something what comes to me, what I feel, and then work from there. And maybe I'll take that drive and I'll get like two sentences off, but then the next day I may get four, or I may finish it all in that day. So it really depends.
Mm, yeah, it really does. But like I said, the process it changes, but it's also similar. Like right now, since I do a lot of traveling and I'm not really in
Mm-hmm.
Chicago 24/7. Me and Brian have kind of found a balance to this shit. Like we'll FaceTime and play off each other and send each other that, send each other this, and just keep it going back and forth because it was easier when we were closer. But now since things are how they are,
Mm-hmm.
it was hard at first, but I think we found a good, we got the rhythm back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I was a little scared to like see, because we're so used to working in person. So like trying to work over the phone and just try to like feel the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what he's writing all the way over there, and you don't know what I'm writing. So it's like we would clash there, trying to like figure out the cohesive words to put. So it's a bit of a like a knitting experience, if I want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's fun though. It's not by far stressful. It's really fun and
Mm-hmm.
relaxing. So nothing bad to say about the writing process.
Nice. So yeah, and like you mentioned, the doing stuff, if you're traveling, going all over, I mean, I think that's an amazing thing that nowadays we can do that. I mean, you can just FaceTime people and it's a lot easier than if it was 10, 15 years ago. So I think, I mean, it's definitely doable. Um, and then Brian, you kind of mentioned, but what are you guys doing that uh, when your creative juices aren't flowing, when you're trying to write and there's nothing coming? Do you like set it down and go try to do something? Do you try to push it as much as you can? Like, what's that whole overcoming like a mental block, creativity block? What's that like?
Well, see, when writers try to force, then usually your words come out cliche. Nothing really relates and nothing really sounds deep and meaningful. Versus like somebody shouting at you and you're just giving them how you really feel, the facts,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I came up with this theory called the why, basically. So I basically asked myself, how do you feel? Okay, I feel sad today. Okay, well, why do you feel sad? And just asking myself that question, just the word why, breaks a mental barrier on why your behavior is the way it is. So if I ask anybody, like, why are you behaving this way? Somebody's going to stop and be like, well, why am I behaving this way? Let me think. It's going to take you into a deeper,
Mm-hmm.
like, perspective of yourself. And like that's kind of like how I break myself for that writer's block.
That's really cool. That reminds me of you guys familiar with Dan Harmon, the creator of Community and like Rick and
Yeah.
Morty? He has like this structure he does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the story structure. Like this
Hmm.
happens, so this happens. They all got to flow. Because if you
Yeah.
do this, this is not going to be the reason that happens. So he has like this. This is like if you guys get time to look up, it's like Dan Harmon's circle story structure,
Theory.
Dan Harmon's story structure or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really cool. It's like really interesting. He's a cool guy. He's a little weird, but he cool.
And I try to, cause Q, he be telling me like, "Oh man, I can't write something." I'm like, "Well, write." He's been telling me now for this album, like, I want you to really write how you feel. So
Mm.
it's like days I'll just not feel anything, so I won't write anything. But when somebody pisses me off, I'll be writing. Maybe.
So then during that writing process, what is your goal? I mean, I'm sure it changes depending, like you said, on your mood, how you're feeling, that vibe. But what is your overall, I guess, goal with your music in general? Like, what do you want to accomplish with your music you're performing? Like, if there's one thing that you want to accomplish by the time you guys are done wrapping it up, what would that be?
For me, and I just got done telling you too how I felt about that.
Yeah, you did.
I,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ironically,
Yeah.
I said the goal that I have in mind for each project, for each word, each sentence I construct together, is time. Make sure it's timeless. I do not
Yeah.
want to be put in a time capsule where somebody listen and be like, I could tell this was from like 2022 or
Mm-hmm.
2021. I want people to be like, when was this made? Like
Mm-hmm.
even for
Yeah.
Haywire, Haywire the song. When I said I'm chilling like a villain in my humble abode, staring at the time as the clock gets old. I mean, staring at the clock as the time gets old. I could have
Got a phone
gave
call
like
from the Day One Bros.
I could have gave like a specific time that was happening, but I'm like, I want to keep the audience guessing at what time it is, what time of day it is.
Mm-hmm.
You will never
Fact.
know. It's
Yeah.
just the
No, that's fact.
smallest detailed things that I like try to take serious just to make sure it gets over a timeless manner. That's it.
Facts. No, I agree because the goal is to make something that's like impactful for the times, but be like timeless. Like you
And
still
it's
want to
hard.
like talk about like things that are happening now, but also a reflection of what's to come. And you could put on this record in like 2035 and be like, oh shit, this shit still, like a good album I always think of is Because the Internet, and Donald Glover's
Mm-hmm.
getting like hella shit for this right now because he's saying like it was influential 9 or 10 years ago. Well, it's getting I absolutely agree with him. I know a lot of people are just like, yeah, whatever. That album's not that cool. I agree. He was doing shit at that time that we're starting to do now. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like concept shit, in terms of like flows, the sound. I really liked that album. I remember niggas was calling me weird for like no, but it was just the time. 2013 was like what we're coming off Watch the Throne. It was that early 2010 shit, and he was doing shit that was like the 2020s was gonna do. So
Yeah.
I agree
So
with the Donald Glover statement. It's a
don't
classic,
just
and it
yeah,
did set it.
for
Yeah,
sure. History repeats itself, man.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
agree. Another artist too. We're actually that I'm a fan of is an artist called Dialect. He's an experimental hip hop artist, and he dropped the album back in like 2002. That sounds like it should have been made like yesterday.
Today, yeah.
It's called From Filthy Tongues and Griots. I hope I pronounced that right. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's like he was before his time. It's so many instances of people that are making music that's timeless, and we want
Mm-hmm.
to be put into that where you put that vinyl on or whatever the case may be when that shit comes out eventually, and you put the music speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Mm-hmm.
music is not a time capsule, and that just I'm not against music that's time capsules. And I'm sorry for ranting, but like you just want to make that shit memorable. Like
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like you want to be 10 years later talking like Donald Glover, like, hey, this shit is set the it raised the bar. Same with Kendrick. Anything Kendrick's done don't sound like it should have came. Good Kid, Mad City don't sound like it should have came in 2013.
Yeah. That's my boy. That's what I'm saying. With Wayne said one thing in an interview that was very important. He said, when it comes to me recording and I'm freestyle, I may go back through that recording 100 different times just to change one small word because that one word will make a big difference for the rest of the album.
Yeah, I like
It's
Mm-hmm.
Wayne too.
yeah, like I just sit back and become a pupil. Like I'm a student before I become a rapper or a producer or a writer, or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always going to be a student and just humble myself because there's always new things that you can learn. I don't ever try to feel like I know more than the next person because that person may know something. I may know something. We both may know something. So
Mm.
I'm just a human being living on this planet like everybody else.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think making timeless music is kind of what separates people that are popular for a couple years and people that are, you know, popular forever, or even like the greats. Like I can go back to any Kanye album, any Jay-Z album, and I mean, yeah, there might be some dated references and stuff, but like other than that, like I still feel like if this came out today, it would sell hundreds of thousands of copies. Like it's not,
Yeah,
it kind of exists in its own realm. It's not, it doesn't really fit exactly where time is, and a lot of that stuff is influential. I mean, Kanye's 808s was insane for the time, and now
yeah,
everything's like based off of 808s. Um,
yeah.
and then
That's very true.
I saw that quote the other day about Donald Glover, and yeah, I think that's he did a lot, especially like with the concepts. And I'm really excited. I need to watch the new season of Atlanta.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Atlanta's very good. I need to get caught up. The only thing is, I also just finished Community when you brought up Dan Harmon like a month or two
Mhm.
ago. I love Community, and so
I
I,
did too.
I am a little bummed that he, you know, had to go and get a rap career and had to leave the show, but I
Yeah,
think it was worth it, and I think he's done incredible things. So I love Donald Glover. I'm definitely paying attention to anything that he comes out with, show, movie, music, whatever he's
right.
doing.
I
Um,
would say not to hate it because if you just think if you would have never went into rap and he would have just stayed an actor, we would not know who he is today, like what
mm,
all he could do. He
mm,
would
Yeah,
just be
that's the argument right there. Because like I
and
say this all the time, he wouldn't have made Redbone, and I'm gonna be
mm,
real with you, he wouldn't have crossed. Man, I hate to say this shit, but niggas was not paying attention to him prior to Redbone. Like when I say that, like black people, like this man would have never crossed over. Like he would have been that like that niche white nerdy black guy. He would have never crossed over because that's
mm,
what he did in the most recent years, which is that can be a bad or good thing, but we wouldn't have got this side of Donald Glover like this, the layers.
mm,
and I feel like Community, the show itself, probably would have been burnt out because they would have just still kept going. So
mm,
like
Had he stayed, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
as far as Atlanta, I feel like they should probably end it here. So just when we go back 10 years from now, we could just replay this whole thing and it's just gonna be just as gold as yesterday, you know.
yeah. Because the problem with Community is when Donald Glover leaves, that show kind of and people overreact. They're like, "Oh, it just fucking sucks." I don't think it's trash after he
mm,
leaves, but the quality does dip, and Dan Harmon does his best to keep it where it was. But those first, I'm gonna say four. People say first three because they love the first three, but those first four seasons, even though the fourth had a problem, obviously because
mm,
Dan wasn't a part of it, the first four is really good. Just the 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 connection between all the cast. Everybody was doing their thing. Dan, I love Allison Brie, all them niggas. Like Yvette. I don't really care for Chevy Chase, but he did his thing in that. He was kind of a dick. Yeah, dude, that they had magic in the first three, and yeah, they
mm,
had fucking magic.
Because
The
of the
first four,
chemistry, dude.
that's the chemistry.
mm.
Imagine if you try to replace me and then put somebody else.
Oh,
Is it
that'd be
gonna be the
off.
same feeling of the music?
It'll be angry off, man. Angry
Ugh.
off. But yeah, I love Community, man. I even like the last episode. A lot of people have problems with
Mhm.
that, but yeah, that was a good ass show. I rewatched it for the first time all the way through because I was a fan since it first really came out, like
Mhm.
2011. I used to watch it, but I finished it like 2 years ago, and I was like, dude, like this is a deep series, and I like that shit better
Mhm.
than like The Office. I'm not a fan of The Office at all. I don't care for
Mhm.
that shit.
What
I'm
about you,
just saying, I don't
Coca?
know if you like an Office fan. I don't give a fuck about that
I
shit.
I watched The Office a lot just because it was on Netflix back in like early 2010s, and so I do like it. I think it did a lot. I think it just became like so popular that it's kind of maybe gets a little too much
Okay,
praise. But I do
yeah,
think I don't know the way the characters are, and it kind of felt real, and then seeing them develop over time. Was there bad episodes and stuff that like kind of maybe it went on a little longer than it should have? Yes, but I mean I
okay,
enjoy it, but I would say because like back during like December and January, I like binged Community, and I'd never
yeah.
watched it. I'd seen like a little bit, heard
Oh,
some clips and stuff, but I just never watched it. And then they added it to Netflix like a year ago, and I was like, oh, I'll watch it. And then I
yeah,
finally started it, and I love Community. I mean, like,
dude, it's so good.
it's so funny, but then it also like it's deep, but then also like so dumb and stupid funny, and it just hits it like
Gee,
perfect for me.
I'm trying to tell this nigga Brian to watch it, but the problem with Community, and I 100% agree on this. The first season is so run of the mill. You think the whole rest of the series is like that? It's
Mm-hmm.
so like typical. The first season is so like but when you get past season one, and actually towards the end of season one, it becomes so special. It's like not even funny.
Would you want a girl to be the run of the mill, huh? And then she just so happened to just come together finally later on in the seasons. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like for
that's
me,
that's it.
because Community never really got to me like right away. I just literally like last year started really liking Community, and then
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even finish it. But it's what they call it, first impression. It's the first
First
impression.
impression.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
always
first
counts.
impression is kind of bad, but yeah, I'm glad it ended when it ended because I think the best shows or anything just have endings. You know what I'm saying? I think Donald Glover talked about that before.
Mm-hmm.
He was like things have endings. He was ending the Childish Gambino name. I don't know if he's ever gonna do it, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Atlanta ending at season four is confirmed, and I think when it's said and done, it's gonna be one of the best shows of all time, like up there with The Wire, Sopranos, Breaking
Mm-hmm.
Bad, like that type of caliber. I really do think
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta will be up there, and I think the best things end. Like if you look at Outkast, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Their run is like
Mm-hmm.
it's done. NWA, they ended a little shorter. You know what I'm saying? But like what they did was, I love it. Like things end. You know?
Do you feel like they burnt out though?
What we talk about NWA?
NWA, Outkast,
No, I just feel like things have an ending when they're supposed to end. You know who burnt out? Like things like the Migos, like things that keep trying to
they're burnt.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, things that keep trying to recreate what they made. You know what I'm saying? Like Wu Tang knew when to stop. All the members doing their own thing. Outkast knew when to stop. NWA, unfortunately, reasons made them stop, but they knew when to stop. Like, but yeah, best things know when to end. Donald Glover leaving Community, he knew when to stop. Like he was there for like
Mm-hmm.
5 seasons. Like
That's the thing. When will we know when to stop?
I think we'll know. We'll know when the time comes.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, it's actually funny. Literally earlier today on YouTube, I got recommended a video and it was like Andre 3000 burnt out, and it was like I watched like half of it, and then the comments were kind of talking about like how he didn't really burn out. He just quit. Like he was just done. He didn't feel the energy wasn't there anymore.
Uh,
So I think there is a difference in between that, and yeah, there's doing it good and then doing it bad, and then especially with Community, like I enjoyed all the seasons, and while I'm glad we got as much as we did, and I, I don't know, I don't want more. Especially, I mean, I think you mentioned the last episode. It kind of even talks about like we can't do this forever. Like it's a
yeah,
community
yep,
Yeah,
college. They can't just keep going back and going back and going back.
exactly.
It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense. The characters can't grow if it doesn't ever stop.
exactly, bro. The last episode, it's like so meta. It's like because even like the company or the studio, I think CBS on them, they
Mm-hmm.
wanted the show not to mention the grades because they wanted that to be a show that can keep going. But
Mm-hmm.
community colleges are like 2 to 4 years, so it's like
Yeah.
he wanted to every year, every season is like a year in community, and I think it
Mm-hmm.
works. And that's why
that shit hard.
those last 2 seasons are kind of weird because it's not, they
That's
try
hard.
to keep it going, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That is so
But
hard.
yeah, everything got to end, man. Like that's just how everything got to end. And I was actually having a conversation with my brother a couple days ago. He was like, man, it's like you should watch Naruto, because it's so long. And it's like, well, I feel like the best series knew when to end. Like the quality was there and they called it on instead
Mm-hmm.
of like they caught on early instead of the thing like long running series like Naruto and Bleach. They catch on as they go. Because I heard, no, I don't know if you ever seen these. I haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
Naruto. I've seen Bleach. You seen Naruto all the way through? Like you know
Uh,
what happens?
I've watched part of it, and I'll talk about that. But yeah, I've watched
Okay.
some of it, the beginning.
For my opinion of seeing that show, I think there's like a lot of dead ends, but there's a lot of good parts. But for the most part, it looks like there's a lot of parts where it's just like, why are we doing this? Whereas I like anime like Cowboy Bebop, Full Metal
Mm-hmm.
Alchemist,
Mm-hmm.
Death Note, just as solid all the way through. You know what I'm saying? It's just like bam, 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 bam. This is the story, this is the characters, this is the plot. It's done, and you can see them trying to still milk these franchises with video games and merch, but for the most part, the series are done.
Mm-hmm.
That's hurting, bro. Characters and the legacy is hurting by the episode.
I love Dragon Ball. It's hurting though. It should end. It need to end, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever want to hurt. Like I don't want to run into a company that like somehow sweet talks us into owning the rights, and then now we're just hurting as a character, and you
Mm-hmm.
hate us. Like, I don't ever want that. I like it just how it is right here
Mm-hmm.
all day.
I was gonna bring up anime because I've always watched anime and stuff, but recently, around like December, I'd say I kind of got back into watching it more and more. I watched Hunter x Hunter, really loved Hunter. Um,
Great.
yeah, I've been obsessed. I just finished it last month, and I've been obsessed. I've been reading the manga that wasn't animated. I got
Okay.
into manga now. I've been kind of a
Parts I
little
didn't get.
yeah, I've been kind of really into anime and stuff recently. And it's funny that you mentioned like long running stuff, because I'm actually watching One Piece right now.
Oh, I was just gonna bring it up.
Difference is they kept
Yeah,
the quality up though.
yeah. One Piece is like 1,000. I'm at like a little
Yeah,
over 300.
Mm.
yeah, because I've been it's this girl that's on like Facebook. She just be like tracking her progress at One
uh,
Piece. I think she's on like episode 154. I'm just like,
Yeah. Well, One Piece has been running since like '99, I think. But that's
yeah.
one series, in my opinion, that I used to watch when I was a kid, and I keep up with what's going on. But from what the fan base tells me and what the reception is, it's been keeping quality after quality after
Mhm.
quality. That's not the case with Naruto, Bleach, and like all this other shit.
Mhm.
So that's one of the rare series, along with JoJo's. I'll throw JoJo's in there because that's been running since like the '80s. But
Mhm.
it's been quality. You know what I'm saying? So some people can pull it off, some people can't.
Mhm. So yeah, it's funny because literally yesterday I saw an article. It was like, some boyfriend like wanted his girlfriend to watch Naruto, but she didn't want to watch like all the filler and stuff. So he edited
Yeah.
out like 115 hours worth of stuff that just doesn't matter. And so I was
Hmm.
like, dang, is there really that much? And yeah, I looked it
Yeah.
up. Naruto is like 40% filler, like the anime at least. And then
Yeah.
same with Shippuden. And then I
Yep.
think Boruto's a little better, but from what I've seen and know about Boruto, people do not care or like Boruto. Um, but then when compared to like One Piece, I think it's like 9%, which I mean, when you compare it to like 1,000 episodes, yeah, that's like 90 episodes. But I would agree with. I mean, I still have a lot to go, but I mean, it's definitely still quality and quality. I just want to watch more and more and see these characters grow. And so, even though it is a very long running series, yeah, I do think it will have a good end. And yeah, there maybe could have been some stuff cut, but I think it definitely compared to some of those other long running stuff, is a lot better.
I
Yeah.
have a question for you, Colton. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where are you watching your anime off of? Like, are you watching it off of set stream, or you just watch it sporadically everywhere?
I've been watching. I mean, I have a site that I like watch anime and cartoons and stuff on. So I've been kind of just binging, trying to just stay with one show, like just one piece. So then I just keep going through it. But then
Mm,
I went and finished Hunter because Hunter's really good. I loved Hunter.
I agree. I put Brian on that shit a couple years ago.
yeah.
I don't think he finished.
Hunter was good. All my friends were telling me to watch it, and I finally did. And whew, I could make a whole hour long episode just talking about Hunter. I loved Hunter.
I mean, if you need like a site, it's this site called Crunchyroll
Mm-hmm.
that has like everything all in one. Like it's like anime. It's like Netflix anime, something like that.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Hulu.
Crunchyroll's legendary, man. That shit
Yeah.
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I know Crunchyroll. I I don't know about you guys, but I watch dubbed, so I like
Oh,
my dubbed
Um,
anime.
it's a certain amount of anime I think that pull it off. I think
Mm-hmm.
dubs are kind of bad, but I think like Cowboy Bebop that has a really.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of them that have really good ones,
Yeah.
but for the most part, I gotta go original Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
But Hunter x Hunter's dub is exceptional.
Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter has a good dub.
you just really want them to be talking in a different language and you just
Mm-hmm.
reading the screen and
Yeah.
Well,
trying to read.
that's how it was originally supposed to be, though. Like the
Mm-hmm.
dub is like our interpretation of that. Like the Japanese version is how it aired when it first came out. So you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like I kind of always want to see how like they intended this to be. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I get you. I get what you're
Yeah.
saying.
I just like watching, especially like long shows like One Piece. Like I like watching it while I do stuff, like while I'm
Hmm.
doing homework or doing something. I'll just have it on my second monitor. So that's why I like to just do dubbed, so then I don't have to like peek over or miss out
Oh
on stuff.
yeah,
So,
that, that's yeah.
but if I like catch up with a show, like I'm trying to think of something. Chainsaw Man. That's about to come out. I don't know if you know about that, but that's like a really
Yeah,
That's
popular
old.
I
manga.
love that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have the first volume. It's really
Yeah,
great.
I've been reading it. I'm like halfway through, and I just ordered the rest of it. But the anime's about to
Okay.
come out, and I'm gonna watch that and subbed. So like I don't hate it. It was just when I started, I liked watching dubbed. So that's kind of just where I've been with it. But yeah, sometimes my friends kind of hate on me because they're like, "Oh, you just don't know how to read," and I'm like, "No, I just like to do stuff while I watch." Um,
Yeah, you put 50, 50, 50. Like you just
Yeah. Yeah, Chainsaw Man is gonna be huge. Like that's gonna be like the
mm-hmm.
next Attack on Titan. Don't get me started on Attack on Titan. They're drawing that shit the fuck out. That shit need to end like 3 years ago. But this is the same studio that's doing it, Mappa. So yeah, Chainsaw Man is gonna be the next big wave.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it now. Like I see that because it's big as a manga. Don't let it get an anime.
let me hop on it now
Yeah.
because you gonna see the t-shirts. Why?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
It's
you gonna
gonna
see
be
that
big
shit.
like Thrasher. You hear me?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you gonna see that shit.
Chainsaw Man sound cold. I never heard of it, but that's
Mm-hmm.
just the name. It sound
Gee,
cold.
it's sick.
Yeah,
I
it's
got the first volume like 2 years ago.
yeah,
I've been
it's
reading that
crazy.
shit.
It's as crazy as the title Chainsaw Man makes it seem.
Facts,
I,
It's
man.
is crazy. And then Quentin, I know you really like Full Metal. I've been watching
Oh
Full
yeah.
Metal. I've been me and my partner's watched it like 3 or 4 times, and so we've been slowly going through it. I watched I don't know
Wait,
10,
which
15
one? Okay,
Brotherhood.
okay.
if I could put if like when Q gets old and he passes away, I'm gonna take his soul and see if I can put it in the Full Metal like universe for him, so he can
Nice.
just live there forever.
Mhm.
Is this your first time watching Brotherhood?
Yeah, I watched like some episodes like I don't know, like 10 years ago actually when I like first started watching anime because I heard it was like the best one ever. But then I don't know, I just slowly fell off of it. I watched Soul Eater, I think, yeah. So I
Yeah,
was
that's nice.
just paid
That's
more
hard.
attention to Soul Eater. Yeah, I love Soul Eater.
It's
And
dope.
so now I'm actually going through and watching it and oh my god, it is insane. Oh my.
It's a good series, man. I think that that best of all time shit really hurts it, man. Because
Mhm.
people watching, they expect it to be like a bar, and it's funny because I ran into like homie at the gas station. Me and Brian, he knows I like Full Metal. He was like, "Man, people say it's just the best, but it has its flaws." I
Mhm.
agree because like if it has all these accolades and shit, you're gonna expect like top tier, and you get that later on, but it takes a while to get there.
Mhm.
But he was saying people are afraid to critique it
I agree. No, I agree. People are afraid to critique Full Metal
because
off of it.
it's
Mhm.
so big. Like, wow, we better not say anything. It's like Squid Games. Like,
Yeah. Oh, people were afraid to critique that because it was like it got
Mhm.
so big at a point. But yeah, I would say Full Metal is like what's something that people just they don't want to even touch, and they act like it's like the holy grail. It's like Sopranos in the sense to where people just kind of don't want to even touch that shit. It's like it's
Mhm.
old, it aired, it has its place, or Breaking Bad. That's actually probably a better comparison.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like Full Metal. I like both versions because I put him on Full Metal. He started watching the original,
Mhm.
and then he was I don't know at some point I guess you're gonna watch Brotherhood, but
see, I watched the original because they was finna take that off of Netflix, so I had to like get that
Uh-huh.
out
oh
of the
yeah,
way.
it's hard to find it now. Like
Mhm.
shit.
He
Yeah,
put me, hey,
Brotherhood's
he was
everywhere. That shit's
Mhm.
everywhere. But yeah, well, you said you're on episode 15?
I think I'd watched up to like 10 or 15. I think now
Oh,
with the rewatch I'm at like 9 or 10. Um
okay.
so there's still so much that I have to
Oh,
watch,
dude,
but
yeah, yeah, you're in for a treat.
but I will say the episode with the guy and his daughter and the dog uh
Oh
that
yeah,
one that was insane. Me and my
mm,
partner were
yeah.
watching that like right before we went to bed, and I just as soon as like he gets there, like the day it happens, my partner just looks at me to see my reaction, and I was like, "What is going on?"
yeah.
That
And
was
they turned. You talking about when they turned the daughter into the dog,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
it
Yeah,
exploded
yeah.
on the wall? Oh, I was finna
yeah,
cry.
But see, that's crazy because you saw the 2003 one, Brian, which in my opinion goes more into detail. And he saw the Brotherhood version that was kind of
hmm
just wraps it up. So there's some
hmm
shit. When you watch Brotherhood, Brian, you're going to see how fast they go through that motherfucker
hmm
compared to
Yeah,
the
you was kind
original.
of saying they conveyed the episodes a lot quicker than Full
Oh, yeah.
Metal.
Brotherhood uses
hmm
like, it goes like just, they expect you to know every shit.
They
It's
ain't even gonna
breakneck
hold you.
speed.
They just here.
hmm
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that Nina shit sad as fuck. I remember seeing that when I was young for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Shit was it's fucked up.
Yeah,
Anime is fucked up.
yeah. It's like, oh, it's for kids, but oh my god, it's so dark. Like Hunter starts out like
Oh
so
yeah.
happy-go-lucky, and then you get to Chimera
Yeah.
Ant arc. You're like, whoa, this
Nah,
is
hey, dog, you
insane.
He's on a
get to
Hunt for
York New
his
City, bro.
father.
Yeah, York New
He
City.
his father don't
Yeah.
even care about him like that.
Mm-hmm.
His family is a bunch of killers.
This shit crazy. You get to York New City, niggas like when the Phantom Troop was like icing them niggas and that beat niggas ass.
You know what?
Shit, I was like, whoa.
I feel like that's how the album should roll out. It should roll. It should have this nice, gentle introduction. Then it just gets really dark and just like, bro.
Yeah. That's how I felt with Hunter. Hunter, man, because I wasn't expecting that. And the thing about Hunter x Hunter that people don't understand, like why it's so typical in the beginning, is that it's been so mocked. Hunter x Hunter's like very influential. Like other things have like Naruto grabbed heavily from Hunter x Hunter, but we just saw Naruto first in the West. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people think Hunter x Hunter's like typical around the middle. It's just because we've seen it so many times done before because it's copied. You know what I'm saying? So like Hunter x Hunter, when it goes, it goes. Like especially the Chimera Ant. That's one of my favorite arcs of all time. Same with Dark Tournament and Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but
I still need to watch that.
Yeah, same creator, so it's good.
So then I guess speaking about the album, I know you guys are still working on it and it's a long process, but is there anything, I mean, you kind of already talked about the feel and being timeless, but what should fans expect for the album?
A lot of, well, I can say, take it, Q. Take it.
I love how you said that. You sound like Dave Chappelle's the Chappelle Show, the dude with like the fucking his hair. Take it, Q.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about when they went back in time.
That's why I was doing
Take it, Q. Man, I just think it's gonna be a more complete version of Angry Blackmen. I think the 3 EPs or the 3 projects, I don't really consider those albums, but sure if people want to, or EP mixtape, because they're shorter, but they're short and sweet. Those 3, that trilogy of projects was just a taste of what we have, and I feel like this album is gonna be the full enchilada. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a full course meal. The 3 EPs projects, those are little appetizers, and this is like, what can we really do? How can we hold our own in this sea of internet rap?
Yeah, I'm glad you put it that way, because that put me into the perspective of like, we're just gonna like really give it our all on this album and like really touch on some deep stories that didn't happen to me, happen to him, happen to both of us at the same time. So it's like people can definitely expect some.
Why'd you make it seem like we got touched? My bad. Happened to me. I'm sorry, but
I'm just saying, like, people can expect like some really grungy, grimy, like deep down dark stories, juicy tea. Like you're going to expect some really good stuff from this album.
No.
Sip some tea while you listen to this album. That's the best.
I like how you worded that, man. Yeah, expect some shit, because those 3 projects before were to get the attention. I put a tweet out a couple months ago, and I was like, "Yeah, y'all gonna get the full shit." Like I feel like a thread. It was like the end of the year, just keeping people updated, and I was like, 3 projects. That's gonna be like its own little trilogy, but this shit right now is gonna be, like the thing that hopefully people, when they talk about us, they go to this. Hopefully it'll be that, but you never know. Only time will tell what makes it and what doesn't.
Facts. That is crazy. Only time will tell with that, because you could be like, we put all into this, and then the other previous one just pops off, and this is like,
gee, I mean, look at Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho. I mean, that nigga put his all into Yu Yu Hakusho, but I don't even know if you know what that is, Brian. Yu Yu Hakusho was a series he did before Hunter, which it's popular. I like it. But Hunter x Hunter's second series, that took his ass to astronomical popularity, I would say.
I bet he was pissed, but you feel.
True. He also had more freedom with Hunter because of Yu Yu Hakusho. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, sometimes that second try, that second try is the most important try. So you never know.
So wait, we on a third try?
I don't even know yet. Only time will tell. It's like Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs came out and it was but Pulp Fiction I don't even know if you know what Reservoir Dogs is, bro. Like
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
know.
Pulp
I know.
Fiction, like yeah, Pulp Fiction is the one that, and I don't know. I like Pulp Fiction. I'm just tired of Pulp Fiction,
Mm-hmm.
but but that's the one everybody fucking jacks off over. So
So yeah, I think yeah, Yu Yu and Hunter is a great example of when you mentioned timeless earlier, because like yeah, Hunter really shot him up, and then people that didn't know about Yu Yu kind of discovered like, oh, this is awesome. Like I was at Walmart the other day, and in the like tea section they have both Hunter x Hunter shirts and Yu
hmm
Yu Hakusho
I
shirts.
know,
So it's
yeah,
just
I saw
crazy
that.
to think like. I doubt like a Japanese mangaka artist in like the early 90s would think that 30
You
years from
feel
then that he'd have both of two huge series that are still like being sold today, even though Yu finished 30 years ago almost, and then
Oh
Hunter
yeah,
is in hiatus, but who knows if that will get its end. But it's just crazy to think that that stuff is still popular at like the huge stores like that today. So I think that kind of plays into the timelessness that you guys mentioned earlier.
you're absolutely right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Because how many fucking anime have came and went? There's only like,
Mm-hmm.
let's be real, there's like 50 anime, around 50. I could probably more. I'm just paraphrasing. It's around like really like 20 to 40 anime everybody keeps talking about. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we get these new shits and shit come and go, but you still hear the same anime all the time. And I'm in the loop, but I'm not in the like. You still hear the same shit. Like you got for every 10 years you get an Attack on Titan or Demon Slayer. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? But for the past, like it's been the same. Dragon Ball has been the same. You know what I'm saying? Naruto came into the fold.
Mm-hmm.
Niggas talk about Neon Genesis, Full Metal Alchemist, Death
Mm-hmm.
Note. It's the same shit that's being talked about. But like I said, every often you get that other one to join
Mm-hmm.
them. But it's timeless. These anime are timeless. Like
Mm-hmm.
fuck. It's so many, man. There's so many, but it's so less. It's so many, but so less because it's like I hear this. I don't know about you. I just hear One Piece. I hear the same anime. I've been hearing it for
Mm-hmm.
the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter x Hunter. I've known about for like at least like 15 years before I watched it. So yeah, timeless, huh?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think yeah, like you said, there's pretty much those main ones, and then yeah, every 10 years there's maybe a few added, and then there's some
Yeah.
that come and go. Like when you're talking about that, it made me think of like Sword Art Online because that came out kind of right when I was first getting into anime, and that was like the thing. It was like everyone was talking about it, and I watched the first season and I loved it. But I mean now. I mean, it's still popular. I'm not trying to hate on Sword Art
Yeah.
Online, but I feel like it definitely lost a lot of its popularity, and like I don't know, maybe it's gone on too long. I don't want to say so because I haven't kept up, but I
hmm
think it kind of came and went, I guess, in the sense of hitting its peak. um so I
Yeah.
think that's important, is to know when to end. Mm-hmm.
That's a good ass. Yeah, that's definitely one
Bruh,
because I never watched it, but people used to mention it, and I don't hear shit about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's like the phrase of today is like knowing when to end things.
Mm-hmm.
Fact. Shit just come and go, especially in this information age. Shit just comes and goes. Like, how fast time is moving right now. How many like rappers or how many things franchise have came and went, but you still know about Star Wars. You still know about Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying? How many like copies does Star Wars have after that we don't know about? So how many copies that tried to replicate Star Wars success? This is a good
Mm-hmm.
one. Avatar. How many movies tried to copy Avatar's success? Nobody talk about Avatar no more.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody,
Like,
like what movie came out that 2009? District 9, 2000 for instance,
Mm-hmm.
or Inglorious Bastards. 2009, they all came out 2009, but I hear more about Inglorious and District 9 than I ever do about Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
If I hear about Avatar, niggas are shitting on it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm talking about in terms of quality and critically. Like District 9, people still really like that movie and think it's one of
Mm-hmm.
the best sci-fi movies. I agree. I like that movie better than Avatar. I don't like that shit. I never did. People still look at me weird, like, why don't you like Avatar? Like, cause it's fucking bullshit. Like, it's boring as fuck. Like,
Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, Avatar. I mean, it came out, and I mean, I thought it was cool and it was good. But then, I mean, the sequels. I think is one supposed to come out this year or next year. I don't know. But there's like
yes,
there's like 5 sequels he's been working on for 10 years, and it's like I don't even know if I care anymore. Like, I'll probably watch them, but it's like you had your chance, but now I don't really care about those characters. I haven't probably watched Avatar in 10 years. And
Oh
then
God,
Me
oh
neither.
God.
and then District 9 I haven't watched, but I mean I've heard good things. I really need to watch that. And then Inglorious Bastards I watched part of around the time it came out. But I mean, I
Uh-huh.
would have been a lot younger. And I actually just rewatched it a couple months ago, and that might be one of my favorite like top 10 films. That was like insane, like the way it made me
Oh
feel,
hell
and some of
yeah,
the, I mean, just the beginning when the guy's going to look for the Jewish people, like just like I
yeah,
was feeling like I was there, like it was insane. And so
yeah.
I
He
think
did his
that's
shit on that.
hmm
And what was the name of it?
the Inglorious Bastards.
Tarantino, yeah,
I,
Tarantino, bro.
bro, I seen that movie
Glorious
like
Bastards.
one time.
It's a hard movie to get into. I feel like because the languages, like people are always complaining it switches.
So
Yeah,
Okay,
Inglorious,
yeah.
classic.
Inglorious
I
Bastards,
remember
right there. If
they
you
was
look
they
it
Yeah,
up.
was in the field and they was just like offing dudes in the field. It was for some odd reason I couldn't remember why.
facts. Yeah, Glorious Bastards is one of those movies that I feel like it's a lot of languages. It's like 3 hours. Like it's like it's a movie. Like so you got to
Yeah.
actually watch it. That's not a very accessible Tarantino film. A lot of criticism it got was Brad Pitt shit is not. He's not even in a fucking movie like that. I
hmm
remember like
He's
hearing that
not.
when it came out. You know.
But didn't they
hmm
advertise him like he was?
Yes, they
Cash
did.
cow name, that's all.
Yeah, because they did the same thing. Have you seen the new Planet of the Apes trilogy, Colton?
Yeah. I love
Underrated.
Planet of the Apes.
I do too, man. I'm a huge fan. That I feel like that to this day, that trilogy did not get the like. It was big. Don't get me
hmm
wrong. Like niggas liked it,
hmm
but had people gave it more of a chance outside of the marketing because the marketing presented those movies as like these action ape
Yeah,
movies,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
what you got was like some really smart scientific shit. I think
hmm
people like those movies more, man. Like especially War for the Planet of the Apes. That one got the shaft.
hmm
Like that was a good ass movie, man.
Yeah, I think the first one was like okay, but then the second and third one were like
Mm.
incredible. Like those are, I mean, it's crazy to think like that it was so cinematic and good, and it was just a, in a sense, monkeys taking over the world. Like it,
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
a sense, it doesn't seem like it's that crazy of a story, but it was incredible. And then that also makes, I was going to ask, since that was Matt Reeves, I got to ask about Batman. How'd you feel about Batman?
I loved it. I know
Mm-hmm.
people were. It's like kind of mixed, but still love. That's the reception,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah, I like it a lot, man. I was talking about that with my homie. I was like really high. I was like, bro, that shit better than Dark Knight. Like that was like when I was first high. And like as I got done, I'm like, I think it's
mm-hmm.
a better Batman film, but I still think The Dark Knight is a better film.
Mm-hmm.
But no, The Batman is a better Batman movie
I
in
haven't even
general.
seen it yet, man.
Oh, it's good. I think it comes out
Dude,
on streaming in like a week
yeah,
or
like
two
a
on
week,
like
yeah.
HBO. So yeah, it was incredible. Like normally I'm more into like
Yeah.
kind of lighthearted stuff, comedies, or even like shorter movies, and that was 3 hours of not lightheartedness, not comedy,
Yeah.
and I was floored. Like I would have taken 3 more hours. I love that movie a lot. Like I love the Batman. The Batman was.
Yeah, it was great, man.
What,
Robert Pattinson did his thing, man.
what
Mm-hmm.
streaming services is coming out on?
HBO,
HBO.
man.
Man, my ex got it. I'm gonna have to hack her account. She gonna be
See,
mad for
I'll
this
let you.
Batman.
I'll let you borrow it. But yeah, man, the movie was Robert Pattinson. People when he got cast, people were like upset, and I was like, why? This nigga's amazing. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
I forgot mainstream audience don't watch like The Lighthouse or Good
Mm-hmm.
Time
Good
and
time.
shit. So they thinking of Twilight. I didn't even think about that. I forgot about Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking of Good Time and all his new shit. But like that man did his thing. He's probably one of the best Batman like interpretations, and that
mm-hmm.
Gordon was great. Commissioner Gordon, or he wasn't a commissioner, but Gordon was great.
Mm-hmm.
The Riddler was cool too. I didn't like the Joker shit. I don't care what nobody say. That Joker shit shouldn't have been
Yeah,
in that movie.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, it was cool at the end, and maybe they do something cool with
Yeah,
it in the sequel. But I mean, yeah, I'm glad it just focused on like the Riddler one character. Well, I mean, it had Penguin and Carmine Falcone or
yeah.
whatever, but it didn't go too crazy. Batman doesn't always need the Joker. Like he has so many other
I,
villains. He doesn't need
yeah.
that.
He's not he's not like Captain America who needs Red Skull and
Mm-hmm.
Hydra. Like he need that motherfucker. Like Batman too diverse for that. Like
Oh
Spider Man don't need Venom, but
that man bring the best out of Captain, huh?
that's Captain really got really cool people like
You
that.
know.
In my opinion, Marvel just don't got really cool villains like that. That's just I guess that's just me, but Marvel villains is whack. Like name me an Iron Man villain. People gonna say Thanos. That's not an Iron Man villain. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like he an Avengers villain, but he's not
Mm-hmm.
a strictly Iron Man villain. Whereas you can name like 20 Batman villains. I can name a couple of Superman villains.
Couple Spider Man. Yeah,
Oh, he got Green Goblin,
Yeah, Spider
Venom,
Man. Yeah.
Mysterio. Yeah, he got
all
hits. He's the
iconic.
only one that got hits though. He's the only one in Marvel, in my opinion, that got villain hits.
Yeah, I never even really thought about that, but yeah, like Batman and stuff, all these characters and they're, I mean, almost as iconic as him. But
Yeah,
then yeah, other than Spider-Man, it's like, I mean, I'm not like a huge comic guy, but I mean, I still grew up with the cartoons and stuff, but I can't name a any like who's a Hulk villain. Like I don't know. I
exactly.
have no clue.
I've
So
been
yeah.
trying to tell you, I know a Hulk villain, but I'm just
Mhm.
saying most people don't.
Mhm. So then also, I just want to talk about I mean, you kind of talked about the tour and the album, but what do you guys, is there anything you can talk about that you guys have coming for this year or maybe, early next year, anything that you guys got coming that you want to talk about?
Playing it by ear, but we do have a tour in place for like this year.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as like next year goes, we're just gonna be hopefully finished with the album and just looking for the reception of it and doing more shows, if anything.
Yeah, yeah, because this year is like what Batman's call his what does Batman call his shit prep time? Where he's
Yeah.
like Batman versus
Mm-hmm.
give him some prep time. If like put Batman against Superman, well Batman with prep time beat Superman. No, but it's like prep time. But no, yeah, our prep time is like uh we got like a bunch of shows. We try to get a headline towards the end of the year. We
hmm
got the tour. We got a fest coming up, and we try and get a headline. And we trying to put the album out towards the end of the year too. So it's a lot.
Yeah, that's
We got a
all.
video coming for reality too.
Mm-hmm.
The track reality. We're working on that. It's animated. So right now it's just a big prep time thing, and I think next year hopefully everything kind of comes together more. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. Shows and just
It,
music and shows.
it's may sound simple. It may sound like, yeah, we're just doing this, but the process for
Mm-hmm.
each one
Yeah.
is a lot. So sorry if I like missed something, but he put that in perfect chronological order more than I could. So
Mm-hmm.
No, you be spitting, bro. Don't do it. You just need prep time.
Yeah,
No, let
yeah,
me
that
stop.
prep time's important. Got to get that prep time.
for sure.
Hell no.
But then I guess, yeah, lastly, I just want to ask, where do you guys see yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Um, obviously we kind of talked about that end, but like, where do you guys see your music, your sound, yourselves? Like, what do you?
Mm, I me 5 years from now, I want to just be hearing like I just want the name like Angry Blackman name to just be growing constantly. We're not even doing anything really with it anymore. It's just growing where it's at, and like I'm off into doing production because I love producing and just songwriting. I love like
Mm-hmm.
songwriting for other people. Like so, I see myself doing stuff like that, and also going back to school and just finishing up a couple credits just to like get this certain degree that I want, so that way I'd be better off. But anyway, how about you, Q? Enough about me.
So enough about me. I I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at sorry, I was looking at these movies Kevin got. I'm like, dude, none of these movies have really carried on. Like
You feel
that.
me?
Speaking of time, it's just like I see a bunch of movies that aren't really considered classics and are remembered. It just goes to show people can like. I mean, we talk about Click, but you know, I see Hancock, which people laugh at. Anyways, um,
Don't get me
it's
started on
like
Sir Hancock.
I hope that I'm in a position to where I'm constantly growing, and I see myself becoming more and more in tune with the music. There's things I want to do behind the scenes, like going forward. Since I've been in the trenches like a cowboy, I know what to do now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been in these fucking trenches for like the last since 20, like in my opinion, 17. I started like just really involving myself into music. That's when Angry Blackmen started. So now I know more of the process of PR and publicists and booking agents and contracts and shit. I know that now more. Well, I know what I as much as I can know being in the trenches. There's a cap on that. There's certain things
Mm-hmm.
you have to go to school for. There's certain things you have to know people to do. So I hope to see myself more. I hope to see myself more in tune with the culture behind the scenes, and I hope Angry Black Men is a good platform moving forward. I think Angry Black Men. I think it was just a cool project to really get the ball rolling, but I feel like it'll be a catalyst for bigger things to happen. Like Angry Black Men's here, you know, the catalyst, it's
Mm-hmm.
just raising the bar, just like Odd Future did for Tyler, or any other thing has done for an artist. So that's pretty much my trajectory. I just want to keep being involved in music because I love it, man. I love this
Mm-hmm.
thing, and I met so many cool people. And that show, like the show, man, it just really what we had recently. The show really made me realize how cool this shit is. Like we did this, we started this shit like 5 years ago, and like we're just starting to see it become like this cool like underground thing, and it's just like that's cool. Like people like it. Like Donald Glover said something in an interview one time. He was like, if they made a hip hop Bible, he doesn't want to be the main guy. He just wants to be that guy that he's cool though. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want to be like, oh, but he was cool. Like, yeah, Jesus was a shit, but that guy was cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he said Jesus, but I'm saying he did say if they made a hip hop Bible, you know, yeah, he would be that guy where, it was cool. It was a good run. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
That
where I
that's
see Angry Black Man going.
because they say every 5 years you progress.
Yeah.
If you don't progress on, you did something wrong. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah. Every
I,
5 years, you got to be in a different spot. You got to be.
even if you don't feel like you are, just look back at your blessings and just count them. What has happened to you? Do you have any broken limbs? Do you know what I'm saying? Are you out in the world with nothing over your head? No,
Mm-hmm.
you got to be grateful for just the little things that come to you. And that's one thing with us: prep time and opportunity. Because opportunity, like a lot of these opportunities that then came by us, if we didn't have any prep time, we would have failed
Mm-hmm.
miserably, and people
Yeah.
probably would have a different outlook on how we feel about music. So it's just us coming with our, you know, obedience and just discipline and our structured way of doing things. We're able to make things happen, and like just leaving the music alone and probably getting into TV or getting into something else that people don't even know about. Because I
Mm-hmm.
also teach. I teach for a living. I teach kids music. I teach them how to write. I teach them how to sing it.
Mm-hmm.
All of that. I may decide that I want to be a full blown teacher. I have, you know what I'm saying. So it's just a little program that I teach. So I may want to be a full blown teacher at a college or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you never know.
Yeah. It's limitless, man. But it's always good to have that first like catalyst, that first start. I think Angry Black Man has been a really good social experiment. Get me out of this experiment. Yeah, because it's like at first we weren't angry enough. Now like
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a big critique. But yeah, man, it's been crazy. Like time is flying by, and it's been natural too. Because you see a lot of artists that they'll be doing shit for like 2 years and they'll pop off, and then we don't hear nothing about them no more.
Mm-hmm.
Like this shit has been natural. So if that time does come, pop off come or whatever, they can't say like we weren't in the trenches because you have a track record of shit to go back to. It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is one thing I think about is like Arm and Hammer. I've been listening to him a little more. If you're familiar with that duo,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, they've been rapping for a long ass time. the niggas been doing this for a while. Or same with JPEG Mafia, like or Danny Brown, like
Mm-hmm.
how they were just doing this. They were just doing it, and then like one time they just popped off. This one time I popped off, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just been, it hasn't been the same ever since for him. But I like the track record. Like that's what I like. I don't want to like be like fucking a nigga that just pop off and he ain't got no songs behind him and shit. He's just rapping.
See,
You know what I'm
that's
Mm-hmm.
the
saying?
thing.
Like
A lot of people have hidden agendas, like, you know, what was his name,
tears.
Chameleonaire. Like they did not like he made one hit song, then they didn't see him for years, but years later, this man has his own mechanic shop. So you can only
Oh,
imagine
okay.
he took all that money, went back to school, opened up a mechanic shop, got all his business, and now he's doing what he really wanted to do. He just used that as a catalyst to get to where he
Yeah,
wanted to get and made a shot.
yeah, I agree because that's what hip hop started off at. Hip hop was always something to express people.
Mm-hmm.
Express hip hop was something that black people needed to express themselves, and the money shit came after. And I agree that I think that the money shit corrupted hip hop a little bit, but also helped a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of people. Like
Oh
now,
yeah.
hip hop is so like it's so
Money,
structured now,
it's
especially
so
like
money hungry.
yeah, well, like any other genre. But see, hip hop is young, and it's just now getting into that. You're starting to see
Mm-hmm.
evolutions, and you're starting to see, you know, how what happens when things become commodified. That's all. That's what you're starting to see.
Facts.
So yeah,
So
it's also funny that that channel I mentioned earlier where I watched that Andre video. I saw one of the videos. I almost watched it. Was like Chamillionaire like
yeah,
made millions of dollars and invested it. Like here's what happened. And so it's kind of funny that you brought that up. But yeah, I think that, and especially a lot of hip hop artists and stuff. I mean, we talked about Donald Glover. I mean, obviously he was a actor and even a comedian, but I mean he used his music, and now has Atlanta. I mean Tyler the Creator had his music, and then Loiter Squad on Adult Swim, and did
Bad
a
apple.
like a Louis Vuitton fashion show and did the music for that. Like it's crazy. He has his own like luxury clothing line now. And then even if
facts.
you go back with past artists, I mean like Wu Tang. I mean you kind of mentioned them kind of doing their own stuff now.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
but
this
like
Wu Wear.
hmm But like, yeah, Wu Wear, RZA doing like different films, like The Man with Iron Fist and all that kind of stuff. So I
Yeah,
definitely
Afro
think,
Samurai.
oh yeah, Afro Samurai.
Yeah,
So I think that's
Awesome.
a very common thing nowadays is to use it as a catalyst. And so I'm excited to see what you guys are gonna do after Angry Blackmen and not just during that time period. But I just want to say thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to come out. Uh, if you guys want to shout out your socials, any last thing you wanted to say?
You can follow us, Angry Blackmen, on everything. Blackmen is one word. People always separate it, but Angry Blackmen on Twitter, Instagram, all that shit, all that good stuff, all the socials.
Yeah, if you follow Black Man, then you'll be able to find our individual socials right there.
Mm-hmm.
So
But don't do it. I usually just post Full Metal stuff. No, I'm just no, I'm joking.
my ending message is, always shoot your shot. You never know what you're gonna take, and know when to end things. Don't just keep things lingering on because you feel like you're a cash cow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or you feel like shit. Because that can be anything. Relationship, bro. If you feel like you gotta end shit, end that shit and save your mind. I got a whole book on that shit. Like I moved to New Mexico to end shit, bro. So like like end this shit is like important. To add on to
Mm-hmm.
that. My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, bro. But
You can cut nothing off. I'm done. I'm cool. I don't, gotta know
yeah,
when to
that
end it.
He ended.
shit. My last message is just stay true to yourself. Like be yourself. Stay true to yourself. If you don't feel like something isn't going like how you expect it, always just keep going. That's one of the things. Always move forward. Like that's a big thing, that I'm just a fan of. Just keep moving forward. That's all you really can do.
Because if you stop, then you stop in time, you stop in yourself, and you missing your opportunity and
It's
blessings.
fact. Just
Mm-hmm.
don't look back. Just keep going, moving forward. Do you, man. No matter how many times you get knocked down, keep doing you. I can't say this enough, bro. We started this shit and we're still doing the shit. Still doing it. People, y'all still rapping? Yes, nigga. Yes.
Still loving it like we just started yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Don't act like you don't see the social media shit. Like, stop. You still rapping? Yes, you know this. Why are you asking me this? Keep moving.
Awesome. I think that's a great note to end it on. So I just want to say thanks, guys, again. I really appreciate the talk we had, and I can't wait to see what you guys got in store. If you got any tour dates near me, I'm there. I'm there. Don't worry, I'm there.
For
Facts,
sure.
facts,
Okay.
facts.